We're on 233. Tick
All
check.
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another TI Testimonies. Today we have Bonnie here. She's going to give her TI testimony, and I hope this can help to change the world and help all TIs that are out there to, come forward and give their testimonies as well. Or, please listen to what she has to say because, it's very powerful stuff, and I've already gotten to hear a little bit of it, and I'm really excited to hear the rest of it. So go ahead, Bonnie.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what happened in my life. First of all, I'm a stalking victim, so that made it very difficult for me to figure out that I was a targeted individual. I'm still trying to figure out who's behind the targeting. I'm not 100% sure. I have some theories about who's behind it, but I'm not 100% positive. So I can't go ahead and, go to the police and say, this is what's happening, especially since the police are now involved in the gang stalking. So it's not funny when you feel like you need help from the police department and the police are actually the ones doing the stalking. It's a problem. You can't depend on them for anything. And your tax dollars are actually paying their salary, right? Because they're public servants. They're public, you know. And the other thing is when they take their position as a police officer, they either read the Constitution and sign that they will uphold the Constitution of the United States, or they raise their right hand and pledge that they will uphold the Constitution of the United States. And this is totally unconstitutional, what's happening to me and what's happening to other TIs. Their privacy is severely restricted, right? So, and it's not right. And it's not right for me. It's been going on for almost 20 years now.
Can I ask you something real quick?
Sure.
Are these Masonic cops by any chance? Are these the types of lodge member cops? All right, so uh
Yes,
these are
absolutely.
connected
Yep.
cops. I've heard. I just wanted to state for the record that I talked to a woman who's the mother of, I believe, a Rhode Island state policeman. Um, and she said they all have black books on each other, that they keep tabs on each other, so if anyone gets out of line or they get out of line, they could drop the book on and be like, hey, keep your mouth shut, or if they're already Masonic brothers, they already have that going on.
Isn't
So
that something? That's the thing. I mean, there are some good cops in the United States, and there are some really bad cops and really corrupt cops, like Derek Chauvin, right? That killed George Floyd, knelt on his neck and killed him. Remember that case out in Minneapolis? I mean, there's a lot of bad actors in the police departments. So you have to be careful. And I found out that it was the police, like I told you, when I was followed to the doctor by a marked cop car. And now I'm at the point where I have a cop at the end of my road, which is a privately owned road. I have a cop parked at the end of my road every day down the road. And it's like, as soon as I come home, yesterday I came home and I stopped at the end of my road where my mailbox is. Everybody's mailbox is down on the main road. So I have to stop there, go get my mail out of the mailbox or check the mailbox. The minute I go to the mailbox, I get out, come back to my car, the cop takes off like a bat out of hell, like he's pissed off at me. Because I completely ignored him. I'm not going to give him the time of day. I'm not going to even look at him. I'm like,
can
you
you
know,
briefly tell the viewers the story, like a shorter version or whatever version you want, a long version of what
yeah,
happened there,
yeah. What
especially the
the,
ending?
the dogs? Yeah.
Oh, not the
Well,
dog. The well, that too, but definitely the incident where they let you go afterwards, where they said it was fake.
oh yeah, yeah. They tried to do a civil commitment, like force me into psychiatric treatment. I think it was like the second week or the end of the first week of October of 2022. They actually sent the Albany County Sheriff to my house. I was at work. My husband answered the door and said, "Oh, she's at work in Schenectady." And so they faxed that form to the Schenectady County Sheriff's Office from the Albany County Sheriff's Office. And the Schenectady County Sheriff shows up at my job with an ambulance. And I'd only been at my job full time for 6 weeks. Brand new job. So the director of nursing calls me down and she says to me, just go along with them, do what they ask, don't give them a hard time. I'm like, okay, fine. I was in shock. I was in a state of shock, shock and disbelief, because nothing like this has ever happened to me in my lifetime. And not only has it never happened to me, it was humiliating. I'm a professional, medical professional. It was humiliating. It was degrading. It was disgraceful. And I'm like, why? And I'm thinking all the way down, and I'm thinking in the ambulance all the way down to the Capital District Psychiatric Center. Why are they doing this? And then I realized that they're the ones behind it the whole time, the cops. They're doing this to shut me up. This is a silencing campaign because I'm politically active on Facebook and I used to be politically active on Twitter. So it's a silencing campaign. It
And
truly is.
they have to try to discredit you and make you appear to be mentally ill, like all the other targeted individual victims.
Exactly. So I get to the psychiatric center, and the social worker, the head social worker at the crisis intervention unit, comes out to the ambulance and she says, Bonnie, she said, I'm so sorry, but this is a fake. This form is fake. We're so sorry that we disrupted your day. This disrupted your day. We're so sorry about this. We apologize. You're free to go. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean fake? She's like, this is an illegal form. This is no good, this form, she said to me. And you're free to go. We know we can't keep you here. She's like, you're not thinking of hurting yourself, right? I'm like, no. She said, you're not thinking of hurting anybody else. I'm like, no, absolutely not. She's like, you're free to go. So the ambulance said, well, we're not supposed to really give people a ride, but we'll give you a ride to an area where you can call and get a ride home or get an Uber. We can't ride you home or back to your job.
How
So
long ago was all this?
this was in the beginning of October, like the second week of October.
Oh, you should definitely sue the crap out of them. Especially the cops that made the fake forms, that you should call the FBI on them for that.
Yeah, that's illegal. Totally
Yeah.
illegal.
Because they're
Plus,
obviously probably connected, maybe not obviously, but it sounds like they're connected with these Masons or these the beings, the people that are doing this to us. So if you could somehow get them to investigate them, then maybe they can make a connection and find out the motives for, there's got to be a reason why they would make a fake form, right? Like, how did they even know how to do that?
yeah, and how do they know? Why are they picking on me, a nurse?
Yeah.
You know, why would they pick on me, somebody who saves lives for a living and helps people for a living?
Plus,
Why
it
would
sounds
they do
like
that?
they proxied it by going from another state all the way over, so that way they could, get away with it by like hiding in the shadows. Oh, it wasn't us; it was them. Those cops did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
terrible. And
yeah,
it was embarrassing. And not only that, my boss never acted the same after that. The director of nursing never acted the same towards me after that. And she actually called me down to her office the following week and she read me the riot act because I was involved with training a new nurse. And she was really upset with me over something that never happened. She like instigated this whole thing and made this whole thing up about it. And then she said, well, we're going to put you back on a med card. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I'm not going on a med card. I'm not doing that. So I'm like, I'm going to tender my resignation and give you a week notice. So that's what I did. I tendered my resignation. I ended up losing my job because of it. She treated me the next couple of days after that whole ambulance thing. She treated me so different. Like I was,
that's one of the reasons they do
nuts.
this stuff, because they
Yeah.
know what they're doing. They're trying to make you it's character assassination, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they called her and spread a lot of rumors about you, said a lot of stuff about you, just so they could influence her to make her not feel the same way about you. Because
I
I've
bet you.
experienced that myself, and I've talked to an uncountable amount of targets, and literally every single target I've talked to in all these TI testimonies, they've said they've had their workplace sabotager, workplace mobbing, rumors, phone calls. They've lost their jobs with no good reason. Like they didn't do
Yep.
it.
That's exactly what happened. I ended up losing my job. She was going to literally fire me or put me on a med cart. She's like, either you can, be terminated or you can go on a med cart. I said, well, I'm not going on a med cart. So I basically got terminated because of the whole thing. She treated me so differently after that whole thing. So I basically lost a day of work because I was in an ambulance going down to the psych center by force with a cop. And then, I missed weeks of work afterwards. I had to find another job. You know what I mean? So I lost my job over the whole thing. It really screwed up my whole, my finances, my bills. And it's like I haven't really been able to catch up with my bills since then. You know what I mean? It's been a real problem financially for me. It's been a struggle. So I'm not happy about it. And the whole, herming my dogs. I had the 4 dogs, and now I've only got 2 dogs. And both of these dogs that are left have health issues. And my one dog, I swear, is under mind control because she's not the same. She has not been the same. Her personality has totally changed. And I don't know whether they're zapping her brain or what they're doing to that poor dog.
Have you ever
But
heard of
she's,
Operation Acoustic Kitten?
no, what is that?
Operation Acoustic Kitten was when the CIA rigged up a cat and made it into a surveillance device for a mission, but then it killed itself in traffic before it was used as the surveillance device. But they
Are you
basically
kidding?
they took the cat and they bugged its brain and they turned it into a surveillance device.
Oh my
And this
God.
was a long time ago. So
Wow.
imagine what they're doing now.
Wow. Well, they're doing
What did
something to
they
my
do to
dog.
your? Can you tell everybody what they did to your dog so that they know that there's no way it was a coincidence?
Yeah, my dogs, all 4 of my dogs had bleeding out the rectum and bleeding out the mouth and nose at different times. Each one of them got sick at different intervals, and it was like months difference between them. Over a period of years this was going on. And we would take them to the vet, and the same female vet vetted all 4 dogs. They were in the hospital for weeks at a time on IV fluids and IV stomach meds and antibiotics and pain medicine and GI medicine and trying to stop the bleeding and everything. And she misdiagnosed them with the flu. Never did serum toxicology on the dogs. She said they have the flu. Now, I don't know whether these perps paid off the vet to say that, which I suspect happened because she's no longer working there. I think she was fired, that vet. But all 4 of them to be sick
Or
that
maybe she
much.
just sucked as a
She
vet.
sucked. She sucked. Yeah, she misdiagnosed them as having the flu, honest to God. And then like a year later, my Jack Russell, I found him dead on the floor. And then a year after that, a year to the day later, I found my German Shepherd dead the same way on the floor, my pure white German Shepherd. So what happened was someone put ketamine, which was a street drug, but it's also available in the police evidence locker, right? They took ketamine and they put it into a meatball and threw it over the fence, and the dog ate it and died from a ketamine overdose. Ketamine is like fentanyl. If you take it, it puts you to sleep. It's a cat tranquilizer. It puts you to sleep. And they gave them so much that it killed them. It put them to sleep permanently. So yeah, the ketamine overdose for both dogs. The only body I have is the one Jack Russell. He's buried and he may be somewhat preserved. And now Dr. Baden, who's a world famous forensic pathologist, is a friend of mine. And I said, well, maybe I should call Dr. Baden and ask him if he can do toxicology screens on this dog, this dead dog. Dig up the dog. He's in a plastic bin. I can take him over to Dr. Baden, have Dr. Baden do serology on him and find out exactly what the toxin was that the dog ate, you know? Because they obviously didn't get over a 6-foot stockade fence. I have part of my yard fenced in with a 6-foot stockade fence. I don't think they climbed over the fence to inject the dog with anything. I think they put it in a meatball, the ketamine. So I don't know. it was awful. But then when my horse 2 years ago, my horse had his mane severed with a knife and had blood spots like the size of a nickel all over his white fur on his neck. And I'm a drug and alcohol counselor, right? So I pull his fur apart and he's got needle track marks on his neck. He's been shot up with something. He's not acting right. I'm like, what's going on with my horse? And I'm like thinking to myself, and I didn't want to upset the barn owner because I rent the stall for my horse there and I just moved there a few months before. And I didn't want to make an accusation because I didn't want to ruffle her feathers. She wasn't the most patient person in the world. And I'm like, I got to be careful with this. I don't want to approach it like someone's breaking into your barn and harming my horse. But I did mention to her that it looks like his mane was cut. And it definitely was. I was an investigator for New York State, so I know, the mane was cut with a knife. It was not scissors, it was a knife. You could tell by the slant of the mane. And it was jagged too. You could tell it was cut with a knife. It was obvious. Even a 5-year-old could look at his mane and say, that horse got cut with a knife. And to have blood spots at the same time on his white fur, I'm like, okay. So I spread the fur apart. I see the needle marks. The horse is acting very strange, like jittery and hyper. And I'm like saying to myself, I shouldn't go for this ride this morning with my girlfriends. But I'm like, okay, I'll try it. So I get on the horse and I have a helmet on, but no flap jacket, just a helmet. And the horse is not acting right the whole time we're riding for 45 minutes at this point. It's just not acting right. His flashing his head, putting his head up and down, just side to side, up and down, side to side. I'm like, what is wrong with this horse? Something is radically wrong with him. He never acted like that.
Sounds like
So
poisoning.
yeah, I'm like, he's never acted like this. And then all of a sudden, he started bucking on me and bolting and bucking and bolting and bucking and running really fast and bucking and bucking and bucking up in the air. And after the fifth time, I went flying off of him over his head and down on the ground, which was still frozen because it was the second week of March 2 years ago on a golf course, frozen hard ground. Bam! Breaks my back, breaks a vertebrae in my back. I couldn't even get up. They had to help me up. They went and got the truck. They put me in the truck. They took me to urgent care. Urgent care called an ambulance, sent me down to the emergency room. They gave me 2 IV push doses of morphine on the way in the ambulance. Then they gave me another IV push dose of morphine as soon as I got there. Then a little while later, another dose of IV morphine. And they did an MRI and they're like, your back is broken. I'm like, what? I'm a nurse. How am I going to work with a broken back? I have to pick up patients. I have to transfer them from a wheelchair to a bed, from a bed to a wheelchair, from a wheelchair to a toilet. I have to pick up patients. How am I going to do that with a broken back? Oh, you're not going to be able to lift. I'm like, well, if I can't lift, I can't work. I can't work as a nurse. I have to be able to lift 50 pounds frequently. So, it made me lose it the whole day from work. Then I was out of work for a couple of weeks on bed rest on my back. I was out of work for a couple of weeks and I'm like in agony every day now with my back. But the worst part is this kid, this 21-year-old boy who lives not far from here, deliberately, maliciously, viciously drove around and got on the Northway, I-87 North, which is an interstate here in Albany. Drove around and got on the Northway behind me, butted in front of the lady behind me. He got in the second entrance, got in front of her, and the state police were doing an exercise on the entrance ramp to I-87 as I was getting on. There's like 9 state trooper cars there. So the traffic is like stop and crawl, stop and crawl. There's like backed up traffic for a mile. So this kid, 21-year-old kid, stops his car on the on ramp to the interstate. And I'm creeping up, creeping up. I'm probably 5 car lengths in front of him at least. And I look in my rearview mirror and I'm like, wow, what's he doing way back there? And I'm thinking, well, maybe he's on his cell phone and he's not keeping up with us. Then all of a sudden, I'm looking at my speedometer and bam! Into the back of my car, this kid slams at 45 miles an hour. What he did was wait for me to move up far enough so that he could accelerate and slam into the back of my car. Slams into the back of my car, and I'm on my way to work. I'm working 3 to 11 that day as a nurse, charge nurse. Everything goes flying off my dashboard. I hit the steering wheel. I'm in pain immediately, right? The state troopers were witnesses. They were right there. They saw the whole accident. In fact, one of the state troopers comes up and says to me, you can see his bumper indentation in your rear bumper. They made out the police report and everything, the incident report, the whole 9 yards for the insurance company. And my lawyer's still fighting with the insurance company. But this kid deliberately, 21-year-old kid, deliberately ran into the back of my car. Broke another vertebrae in my back that day. Okay. So now I have 2 fractures in my back. So then last year, my car was vandalized and I had to take it in to be serviced. And I had to leave it there for 5 days to the garage because it needed extensive work because of the vandalism. So I have to rent a car to get back and forth to work. I'm in the Enterprise Rent-A-Car parking lot in Albany. And I think the ground is wet. It's like January. It's not wet, it's black ice. So I trip, slip, and fall on my back in the Enterprise parking lot, returning the rental car and break another vertebrae. So now I have 3 fractures in my back. So I'm like, oh, this is just great. So now I'm
That's
working, believe
awful.
it or not, I got a job offer at the Capital District Psychiatric Center, and that's where I'm working at the psychiatric center that they tried to have me committed at. I'm actually working there as a nurse now. And everybody that works there knows me. All the doctors know me, all the psychologists know me, all the social workers know me. These are all state of New York employees, Office of Mental Health. They all know me and they all know I'm normal, right? And that I'm not a threat to myself or anybody else. They're all licensed professionals by New York State. There's hundreds of them in there, okay? Social workers,
Good.
counselors, mahadas, they all know me, right? So God is in my side because I swear to God, this job opened up for me through God. You know, it definitely was divine intervention that got me this job at the mental health center, at the psychiatric center, because I don't have to do any lifting there. Thank God, with the fractures in my back. You know what I mean? And I'm not ready to retire yet. I want to continue to work and feel productive, and try to work and make some money. But at the same time, I can't do the lifting that I used to do. And I can't run around like I used to do. I can still draw blood, I can still do vital signs, I can still start IVs, I can do everything a nurse does, right? All that stuff, including counseling, because I majored in psych. I majored in nursing, but I also majored in psych. So I have psych degree behind me. So I have a lot of interesting patients at work,
That's good to
profoundly.
have that job and that background too, because and that everyone knows you there. Because if they keep trying to get you with that, discrediting you, trying to make you look crazy and stuff, you're already on the right side of it, so they can't do that now.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Everybody down there knows me. You know what I mean? They all know me. They know who I am. They know I'm very professional, and there's no questions asked. They know I don't have any, schizophrenia or any delusional disorder or any impairment whatsoever. They know that. They know that. They're able to assess and tell whether someone's sick or not. You know what I mean? So it's just it's unbelievable. And for them to put me through that after, them breaking my back, deliberately hitting my car. I swear to God, they deliberately hit my car. They deliberately shot my horse up with methamphetamines. And the first thing that goes through my mind as a past investigator with the state of New York is, where do you get methamphetamines to shoot up into a horse? Where do you get that from? There's 2 places you get methamphetamines: a drug pusher and the police evidence locker, right?
Yeah.
The
I
police
was
evidence
thinking like they
locker
might have
has,
did something with the nanotech or something, try to, like they did with the acoustic kitten, kind of like take over your horse and make it do it the right way just to break your back kind of thing, like to set it up like
right.
that.
Yep.
I don't know if they go that far, but I know they're capable of doing that kind of stuff. But
Well, he came out with a tumor um on his brain, like right above his eye, below his ear. You know how horses' ears are like triangular, they're in the front. Well, his this tumor was a rapid growing tumor. And this was like the following year this tumor came out, like 6 to 7 months later after the injection. I had to move him out of that barn because the lady that owned the barn, her brother, who was there all the time, was a freaking cop. And I'm like, I'm not comfortable with him here. He made me very uncomfortable. He was not nice. He was not friendly. He was rude, and I suspected he had something to do with my horse being shot up.
well, that's
Okay.
what it sounds like.
Yeah. So, again, even at that barn, that red pickup truck, always a red pickup truck. The guy is white with brown hair and a brown mustache, driving up and down, up and down, up and down. So I moved my horse over to Pattersonville in Schenectady County, which is probably 35, 40 minutes away from my house. So I went from being 5 minutes away to 40 minutes away to a different barn so my horse would be farther away and safer. These people live on premises. They have loads of dogs, they have pit bulls, they've got all kinds of animals there that are going to alert them if somebody's on their property. You know what I mean? They've got roosters, they've got geese that go after and quack and make all kinds of noise. They've got all kinds of things, cats. And then, so I moved my two donkeys and my two horses over there. And they've been there pretty much ever since. They've been there for, I'm going on 2 years now. They've been over there and they're pretty safe there. He's got cameras up, hidden cameras like trail cams all throughout the property. He's, got dogs on duty there. He just bought a German Shepherd puppy, a pure black German Shepherd puppy. So that puppy's going to be guarding too. He's got two huge, what are those big white dogs? They're like a Burmese mountain dog. What do you call those? The big white ones that guard the farm and the livestock. They're pure white, Great Pyrenees. Great Pyrenees. He's got two of those. So he's got all kinds of dogs to guard the livestock. You know what I mean? And he's got all kinds of, and he's got guns, which is a good thing because if anybody comes onto his property, he can shoot his shotgun, and scare him away. You know what I mean? So it's just I feel a lot safer with them there. I know nobody's gonna hurt them. But sure enough, the horse came out with a tumor and it cost me a lot of money. I had to have the vet come and take the tumor off, excise the tumor, anesthetize the horse, slice the tumor off in front of me and send it to pathology and do a biopsy on it. And it came back positive malignant cancer. So, yeah, I don't want to cry. So it came back positive. So, he's going to die. He's dying. He doesn't know it. I try to give him the best last years of his life. I don't know how long he has. I asked the vet. I said, "How long does he have?" Because this tumor was so close to the brain and it's metastatic. So, I have to watch his behavior. If his behavior changes or anything like that, then I'm going to have to look at, possibly putting him to sleep, you
Have
know.
you ever heard of the Royal Raymond Rife machine?
No, what is that?
It's a machine that um, it uses frequencies to dissolve cancer that they won't tell you about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it works on people and it works on animals.
Oh,
And they
wow.
killed the guy. I think they assassinated him for coming out with it. But
Oh
you
my
could buy them
God.
online.
Oh, let me write that down because
I also have a link for you. I'm going to message you. It's the cures for cancer. I personally did research for cancer cures that they don't tell you about, and there's a whole list of them. And I even got an artificial intelligence to give me some as well.
oh, wow, that's great. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. That's
Well, I hope it helps.
yeah,
I'm
I
not,
hope I'll
I
try
can't
it.
promise it, but I hope it helps. I mean, it can't hurt to try, right?
No, absolutely not. Not
If
not
it
at all,
works, if it works for you or your horse, then you could use that to help save other people too at that testimony. They might.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You would not believe, Devin, the amount of damage to my house, all the way around my house. I made a video last fall. I walked around my house and videoed all the damage at my house, and I put it up on Facebook, but it's probably long gone now because it was months ago that I made the video. The amount of damage to my house is astronomical, and my house really looks like it belongs in a third world country. That's how bad it is. The damage, the vandalism, you know.
Um,
I got
also,
a new Jeep
let's see.
Cherokee like 7 weeks ago, and that thing's already been vandalized like 25 times. Keyed, scratched, white paint painted on it, all kinds of damage,
Uh,
dents, all like the I came out of getting my hair done Friday, and the cigarette lighter USB port no longer works to plug in, to charge my phone up, my iPhone. Thank God I have an extra one in the middle compartment. I have two USB charger ports, but the one in the front is not working. So I made an appointment to take it in and have it fixed because the windshield wiper in the back's not working. The windshield wiper fluid in the front broke. It's not working. So I think the car's just been broken into over and over again, and it's been vandalized over and over again. There's like 25 things wrong with the car now, and I've only had it 7 weeks. So it's a brand new car. So my husband says to me, "Oh, you bought a piece of shit car. That's why it has all these problems." I'm like, "No, the car, everything worked on the car. It was brand new when I brought it home. Everything worked. Everything was fine. It's been vandalized, just like the house has been vandalized." But if you ask my husband what's happened to the outside of the house, he'll tell you it's wear and tear.
uh,
The finger holes through the screens where the locks are on the screens, those flip locks on screens, those finger holes through the screens, that's wear and tear. Did you know that? That's wear and
uh,
tear. The kick marks on the back of the screen door with somebody's boot print on the back of the door, the screen door, the aluminum, kicked it in. That's wear and tear, you know? The
uh,
hole in the bottom of the fiberglass hot tub that somebody put in it, that's wear and tear, you know?
uh,
So either he's responsible for it, he's involved in it, or he's in denial that there's a problem here. I don't
I
know.
mean, it could be either way. It could be, he's gaslighting you, or it could be, he's being manipulated to not believe you, or he could be involved directly, or he could just not want to be involved at all and not be messed with. So he
Yeah.
just denies it. But
Hmm.
or some people just don't want to accept the craziness, or
Yeah.
it's not crazy, obviously, but it just sounds crazy.
It does.
Life is so crazy.
Exactly. It really is. It's awful. I'm losing your audio here, audio visual here. But
Uh,
yeah, it's
did,
awful. The
and
gaslighting is terrible too. It's awful. It's
did you
chronic.
get that chat by any chance right there? Can you see that?
Uh,
Uh, on the bottom of the screen, right in the middle, you'll see a little. You see a chat thing.
yeah, I have that.
Just hit that, and then you'll see the Cures for Cancer link and the Rife machine. Want to just take a screenshot of that or something? It won't let me send it through text because the tiny URL it blocks it because it's a tinyurl.com link. So
Oh, okay.
it could go to anywhere. A tiny URL lets you make your own link with the tiny URL and
Oh,
put anything you want after it to shorten it.
oh, okay. Okay.
But they block it. So I had to
Oh,
send it out here.
this is good. This is a good way to do the video, because you can tape it and record it. I think it's great. It's a great tool. And it's good to share it with the TI community. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We really,
Very
Devin, we
good.
really need to do something about this targeting. We all need to do something. Whether it's we all need to go at the same time to Washington, D.C., walk into Congress, and just take over the podium and say, look, this is the way it is. You people know what's going on here in the United States. You people are behind it. You need to stop it. Okay. They need to stop what they're doing here. We're
Very
not
good.
guinea pigs. You know what I mean? We are not guinea pigs. If you want a guinea pig, go someplace else to get a guinea pig, not the American public. You know what I
Yep.
mean? It's not
Oh yeah.
right.
The
Pick
problem
on
is these people
people.
still think that America is is a real country. America was always a corporation in the United States controlled by England.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the Independence Day and all that stuff, but they deceived us into thinking that we weren't still controlled by England. The crown controls America, and the Vatican and Washington D.C. they all have an obelisk. There's three obelisks worldwide, and it's their tri power for the
Mm-hmm.
devil apparently. So
That's
it's
terrible. Yeah.
that's the problem. They're all controlled, and they're filling our heads up with, oh, if we vote here right, or we go through Congress or Senate, or we do this right, or we vote the right president in, that everything's going to work out. But they tricked us and made us think we have more power than we have. But at the same time, they made us think that we have less power than we have.
Right. Exactly. That's true. That's very true. You know, and the politicians in Washington are so corrupt. They're all corrupt.
They
Whether
can't
they're
not be,
talking to,
really.
they may go in there with good intentions to begin with. They may have good intentions when they start off, but within 6 months, I think they get corrupted. You know.
Well, the whole system's controlled by corruption, so there's really no point in if they're staying in the system, they're corrupt. If they're not, then they ain't
Yeah.
doing anything. But they
Right.
really can't do much of anything anyways unless, it's allowed to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's not good. It's not a good situation. You know. And we have to do something. We have to brainstorm, all of us, brainstorm and come up with some kind of a plan, all of us together, you
I
know,
agree.
say we need to stop this because they are not going to stop. They're not going to stop. I can tell you that right now. They will never stop. They will continue to abuse us, use
Yep.
us, and take advantage of us until we put our foot down. They will continue to do it. And
We
that's
need
life, right?
the
That's how
world to
people
know.
are.
They need to know. Like, people need to know this isn't conspiracy theory, and it does matter to everyone, not just the people that are being assaulted.
Right. Well, the thing of it is, if it happens to us, it can happen to anybody. You know what I mean?
And
And
we're the
that's
guinea
the way we
pigs
have to
too.
present it to people is listen, if it can happen to us, it can happen to you. And if it happens to you, how are you going to deal with it? You know what I mean? It can happen to anybody, you know? And
Just
it's
about,
terrible.
if not every single target has a higher than average intelligence level, it seems. That we are very outspoken, awake and aware individuals. And I
Mm,
don't mean woke, I mean awake,
right.
knowledgeable, wise, informed,
Right.
you know, opened in our minds beyond the status quo and the narrations that everyone goes by,
Mhm.
and that's what makes us threats to the system, and that the system is not acting on your behalf. When they say, oh, you're a threat to the system, it sounds horrible, right? But the system is a threat to us. The system is a demonic, satanic, antichrist system, according to our research. So they
Mhm.
don't like that we know that, because when we know that, we can't be deceived by the system and the people of the system. So if the whole world knows that, how are they going to get away with this anymore?
Right. Exactly. They're not going to allow it. People will not allow it. They will
Hmm?
not, you
As
know?
long as people think that it's a good thing what's going on, then they'll fight for it. But if they know that it's evil, then they'll fight against it.
Right. Exactly. And
And
that's
if
what
they don't, they'll get associated with it and everyone will fight against them. So I think the best way is to inform people, make it so it's not debatable anymore, and flip the narrative on them so that way they're caught in a catch-22, they're going to help us, or they're going to be the ones caught with the evil forces, and
mm,
everyone's going to turn on them
yeah.
for everyone's safety and security, because
Yeah.
that's the way it's got to be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really not safe where I'm living now. It's an unsafe environment. Totally unsafe. Now, do you live alone where you are now?
I'm in an apartment building surrounded by cameras and other people, and I'm
Oh,
pretty
wow.
sure some are involved in this or have been approached or something, or they just aware of what's going on and probably a little freaked out by it. But I have no doubt that they have contacted people since I've been here, or somebody,
You on the
influenced somebody in
first
some
floor?
kind of way.
Are you downstairs or upstairs?
I'm on the first floor, thankfully.
Good.
So,
That's good. That's good. That's a good. Always take a basement or a first floor. Don't do the top floor because it's
why?
easy for them to reach you through the roof on the
Oh yeah.
top level with the ray. You know,
Oh yeah, the directed energy weapons.
I have
Oh, the
11, maybe more, 11 towers within 3 miles of my house. 11
well, yeah.
big.
Robert Duncan said that it could be towers, it could be drones or satellites. The CIA guy, Robert Duncan, or he was Department of Defense, CIA, and DARPA. That's what he said.
Right. Yeah, Department of Defense. Yeah, he's the one that invented the voice of God weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put up a link to his one of his videos today where he was interviewed.
Jesse
But
Ventura conspiracy theories.
oh yeah, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, yep, yep. I put that link up today on my Facebook page. I go by an alias on my Facebook page because of the stalking with the ex-boyfriend. So I don't want him following me on Facebook. You know what I mean? I don't want anything to do with him. I will not call him. I will not, interact with him in any way whatsoever. I don't want anything to do with him because any response, even anger with him is a positive for him. It feeds his ego. You know what I mean? Any response from me would feed his ego. So I can't respond. I can't do anything. I can't
But
say
just
anything.
for the record, you don't believe that he was involved in the animals and all this stuff, right? Because he's just a ex-boyfriend, right? He's not. He might have been involved, but he's not the one stalking you now, right?
I don't think so. I
All
doubt
right.
it. I mean, you'd
I
have to
don't.
have a lot of money to pay these people to do this for 20 years.
Yeah, I
You know,
don't think a regular
I don't
person can
know.
do this stuff.
I don't think so. I just
These
don't
are
see
like secret
that.
societies of people, and this goes beyond human too, from what I got for research. This goes way up
Yeah.
beyond humanity
Yeah, yeah.
for the
I
forces of evil,
don't have that much money to pay somebody to do this kind of work, every single day,
or
violate.
just to create their technology.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
trillions and trillions of dollars. It's got to be. You
Yep.
don't make a quantum supercomputer cheap, yeah, or an
No.
artificial intelligence that could scan your brain activity and know what you're thinking and see out your eyes and stuff like that. Like that is not cheap, and no ordinary people are making that. These are world rulers. These are
Right.
people that have trillions and trillions of dollars, their hands in everyone's pockets, and stuff like that.
Mhm. Absolutely.
This is
Yep.
like the shadow government. These are, rich globalist, elitist establishment, deep
Mm,
staters that are doing this stuff.
absolutely true.
They're the
Absolutely.
only ones with that amount of money.
Yep. And that's what I figured out. I'm like, yeah, this has been going on for too long. It's too much money to do all this stuff, to follow me around all the time.
And all the people, too, all the perpetrators, all the people they have, their influence in the FBI and the CIA and the NSA and all the local police departments, infraguards, watchdogs, you name it. And that's just America alone. They're doing this worldwide.
Yeah, it's worldwide. People all over the world are being gang stalked.
Hundreds of millions and counting. Every day there's more people, I heard,
It's
getting it because we're
terrible.
the guinea pigs. And like I was saying, we're the smart people on this planet, not to toot all of our horns, but they're attacking us because we know stuff. And women are being trafficked as well. There's other reasons why they target people, not just their whatever they know or whatever. But just think of how intelligent we are, how aware of things we are, how knowledgeable we are at what's going on, how much we've been attacked already and trained. We're taking them to the next levels, whether we want to or not. And that
Right.
means all of you people worldwide, you don't stand a chance. So you
Yeah.
should start listening and getting trained by us and briefed by us now, because if they do go into your head and start messing with you or your family, your children, you'll have the training to defend yourselves.
Exactly. And they'll have the knowledge base backing them up and evidence. That's
Well,
why I'm outside taking pictures over my roof frequently. I'm outside taking photographs all the time. And I've collected hundreds of thousands of photographs over the past 20 years. I have so much evidence of this crap, it's not even funny. You know what I mean? At this point, I'm going to write a book about the whole experience, and I'm probably going to make a lot of money on that book. People are going to buy that book. They're going to buy it, and they're going to read it, and they're going to know what shitheads the government is.
Hey, I'll
Because
get the book.
yeah, when you figure out it's not your ex-boyfriend doing this, it's the freaking government doing this to you. It's a public entity that you're paying for with your hard-earned tax dollars. You're paying them to do this to you.
All the
It
taxes never
makes sense.
go towards your own benefit, anyways. It goes straight to the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, that's
They're in
true.
debt to the Fed, so that's why we pay taxes because they just take our tax dollars and pay it off to the never-ending black hole of debt slavery.
It's terrible. You're taxed to death. I mean, I don't know what state you're in, but it's we get taxed to out the max here in New York State. It's terrible. We get taxed and taxed and taxed for everything. And the cost of living here is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Can't afford to live, it's very hard. So,
And
but
just so you all know, too, I just gotta add in, you know, a lot of people think it's their exes. They think it's their neighbors, their coworkers, their families, their friends. This is what they want you to do. They
right.
want you to isolate yourself. They want you to attack everyone, sound insane, and then get them to reject you and go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, you're nuts! I don't want to talk to you no more."
Right.
Or they want to hide behind the image of someone else so they can get away with it.
Yep.
And these are the best way I can describe these beings or these people, demons. These are demons, whether they're in flesh and blood or whether they're in the astral realm or a higher dimension or whatever. By the definition, these are demons,
Absolutely.
human or not.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. I mean, they're not normal people by any stretch of the imagination. Normal people do not do this type of activity. Abnormal people do.
Yep. This is sick, it's sinister, it's satanic, it's demonic, it's egregious, it's heinous, and it's
Yeah.
unacceptable. It's unforgivable. It's certainly not justice. It's certainly not an act of the law or serving, justice or upholding the law. And it's
No,
certainly not godlike. It's not godly. It's unholy. It's ungodly, and it's abominable.
it
And it
is.
will be met with the wrath of God and the people very soon.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why we have to band together, all of us TIs, and form a cohesive group with one goal. And that goal is to end the torture. End it. We have to.
I think we should just try to, if we can, just cut the head off the snake that's doing this. Whoever the devil is, just just like he did to God, turn all the people that he lied to against him.
Hmm.
Every lie he's ever told his own people, oh, they're the force of evil just the way he wanted them to be. Well, now they're the force of evil that might get him.
Right.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
you want
Yeah.
to deceive the whole universe. Well, what happens when the universe finds out how much you deceived them?
Yeah. Exactly. It's terrible, what we're going through. Each of us is suffering, and it's not fair to us. It's really not. We have a right to our life. We have our right to privacy. We have a right to human rights. We have a lot of human rights.
Unalienable.
Yeah, and we have a right to live in peace and not be bothered by these people.
Mhm.
They're like cockroaches. That's what I liken them to. They only come out at night over here in New York. They come out between 10:30 p.m. until 6:30 a.m. the next morning. They're all over the top of my house. All over the place. They're up on lifts. They got hydraulic lifts out here going over the roof of my house, shooting their weapons through the roof of my house, coordinating. They use triangulation between the satellite, the cell towers, and their computer program. They're triangulating the whole beam down into, and they can locate you in your house using through the wall radar.
Yeah,
They
they
can
have
locate,
smart dust now too. The high
yes,
ups, they're
yep,
spraying all that stuff. They're spraying everybody. That's smart dust.
right,
Smart dust. People that don't know, they've admitted to this. But what people don't know, what the smart dust is it connects to their quantum supercomputer, so they can access your senses and your brain and your body, and they can go inside your house and look around, and they get inside your kids' heads and get inside their senses, and just do
Uh-huh.
all kinds of sick,
Sick
disgusting things to
stuff.
people.
Yeah, child sex trafficking and everything.
Mhm.
Child porn, all
This
that
gives
stuff.
them godlike power.
Yep. Now I have three little kids that I'm very close to, you know, and then won't let them come over here because of the crap that's going on here. I will not let them come over to this house. I don't want children in this house because of the crap that's going on here. I really don't. I don't want them exposed to any of this evil. I really don't. I'm very protective of the kids, any children. I would never want kids in this neighborhood, little kids, because it's not safe, especially the guy across the street and the guy next door. They're not safe. They're not.
They go after young kids too to corrupt them and turn them into gang stalkers. I noticed that. They
Yeah.
go after young-minded, weak-minded little kids, especially little gang members, people that are politically correct and go with the status quo because they're easy to manipulate. Anyone they can deceive, say lies about you to, that feel like they're being a hero because, they're, whatever, they want to be a part of something or they're lacking something in their lives, they will stalk you around. So it's important, guys, to recognize that it's not just about being a victim, being persecuted. It's about your children and their family and your friends being brought into the Satanism going against the persecuted. So you got
Yes.
to watch out for that side as well.
Right.
Your
Exactly.
kids getting corrupted.
Yep. It's terrible. It's awful. It's terrible. The whole ordeal has been horrific for me, and I'm sure it's been horrific for you too. I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't get a lot of sleep. Do you get sleep?
When I sleep now, or whatever, when I close my eyes, as soon as I'm like already there, I just start talking in my head nonstop. I talk all night, nonstop for hours, and I like I'll be semi-conscious and aware of it. I'll hear myself saying stuff, and it's weird stuff, like weird, and I'll hear them talking into me, trying to program me with hypnosis, like I'm some kind of sleeper agent, and I'll catch him all the time, programming me, talking in my head. It's like the devil. It's like the Antichrist or the devil and his consort, and they're just talking into our heads, like worldwide. There's like so many. I did a little investigation into celebrities. Over 1,000 artists, different songs, right? Labeled voices in my head, demons in my head. The
Oh,
title, the titles of the song,
wow.
the titles.
Voices in my head or demons in my head?
Go
Really?
on YouTube and type in voice in my head in quotes or demons in my head, and you'll see hundreds or over 1,000 songs of different artists, different songs with that in the title.
Wow. That's
And that's
not.
just musical artists. Never mind everyone else.
Wow. That is amazing. That's something, isn't it? That tells you something.
Because
So
it's,
it's not
it's
just us.
evil. It's
I think
evil.
the
The
younger
demons or
people,
something.
they're very demonic, no doubt about it. Well, the Masons, and I'm not talking about the bricklayer Masons, the Masonic Lodge, the from Italy, the Masonic Lodge, the Vatican Masonic. You know what I'm talking about? They're evil, demonic,
Yeah,
Satan
the
worshiping.
Jesuit order.
Yeah, these cops are part of the Mason Lodge, right? They're part of the Masons, and they swear an oath to the Masons. And in Schenectady, there's a Masonic Lodge, and it's got like demonic statues on either side of the door as you enter. They're right outside on the road. There are these statues with horns coming out of its head. So the strangest thing is, okay, this I have so many stories to tell you since this has been going on, but the strangest thing is when I first moved in here, I was walking around the house to the far side where I have a pear tree, wild pear tree. And I look down and there's this goat skull with horns coming out of its head, like a mountain goat. Mountain goats have those big round.
Nimrod.
Yeah,
Pan.
yeah.
Satan.
So this skull has been placed on the outside of my house next to the bedroom where the individual thinks I sleep, down on the ground with the horns. So I happen to have my cards read over in Delmar, And the lady that did my reading on the cards, I told her about the skull. And she looked at me with this shocked look on her face. And she said to me, "You have to destroy that skull immediately. It's bad luck. It's a bad omen. Someone is bringing bad, evil spirits into your home. Get rid of that skull immediately." I never knew anything about that stuff. So someone put a curse on me, put a curse on my house, left that skull here. It wasn't here when I first moved in. It was left by somebody who came into my yard at night. So
Wow.
I said to Joe, I said, "Get rid of that skull, right?" So he puts it in the shed in the backyard. I'm like, "It's in the shed? I told you to throw it out. Get rid of it. Burn it. Get rid of it. Get it out of here. Don't put it in the shed. It's not an ornament that we're going to put in a box and pack away for a better day, We're not going to, we're not keeping it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it. Throw it out. I don't care where you put it, but get rid of it." So I think he finally took it for a ride and dumped it somewhere, but who knows? But yeah, it's bad
Um,
luck. Anything like that with horns coming out of it is bad, bad luck. And
I've
that's
seen
exactly.
some pretty creepy, disturbing content. I seen this guy. He came forward. I forgot his name, but if you look it up, ex-Satanist, blows whistle or something, and he
Oh,
was talking about how he used to put curses on people, and you could go in the astral realm, an astral project, leave your body, and do that stuff to people, and stalk them around. And he said that, he tried to put a curse on somebody or do something, and he said they had a wall of fire around them, and it was the Holy Spirit, or it was, the wall of Christ or of God, and he
yeah.
couldn't do anything. It blew him back. It was
Wow.
too powerful. So either he was lying, and this is some kind of satanic deception, or he really did do that, and that's how powerful it is, and that's
Wow.
pretty cool stuff. But
Yeah.
he said that he's an ex-Satanist, and he knows there's a whole bunch of people that do that stuff. People do that everywhere, and they do that for Satan because they go up in ranks. They earn ranks, and they get stuff. They get paid. They get promotions and stuff, and just for doing evil, basically. Just for going after Christians, going after Catholics, going after people that, could potentially be a threat to the system, or, are just good people that
Yeah.
don't like evil because
Yeah.
they're evil. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was just reading last week that the week before, the whole weekend, I think it was a long weekend, they had the Satan conference in Boston, Massachusetts. A Satan conference. Can you believe that? A Satan conference for everybody who believes in Satan, worships Satan, for all the Satan worshipers on the East Coast and the Northeast. They all congregated in Boston, Massachusetts 2 weekends ago for the
They
whole.
made Satanism a recognized religion in the Supreme Court already. They put their hand on a Bible
Oh
and
my
said it's a
God.
religion.
Oh my
That's an
God.
act of treason, isn't it?
That's crazy. That is crazy.
And you want to hear something even more crazy than that? Or maybe it's less crazy. I don't know which one's more crazy. Tucker Carlson on Fox News, he had an interview, a report, how they have a Satanism after school program now for kids.
Oh, you're kidding me.
And they're doing
I
it
didn't.
all over the country more and more now.
Oh my God. That's terrible.
And they're pushing it like
Oh,
it's benevolence, it's love and freedom, and it's
oh my.
good. It's not about religious dogma. It's for liberating yourself and
That's
all this
crazy.
bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's just
pretty
crazy.
sick. That's how they influence the sexualization onto the kids, and all the extra stuff. I don't want to say too much on this YouTube video because it might get blocked, but it's just ridiculous how they can get away with this in front of people's eyes, and they
Yeah.
just like,
Terrible.
oh, it's all right, it's their rights, they can do whatever they want, it's
Yeah.
their
Well, I
rights.
don't think a 12-year-old really knows what they want to do with their life and what sex they want to be at 12,
Yeah,
And I be
that
allowed
shouldn't be a
to
right,
have
and it shouldn't be a right to practice Satanism when
no,
you're in a Christian country founded on Christianity, and
right,
that recognizes that as the enemy of us all.
right.
Like,
Exactly.
it's
Exactly. Yeah.
treason then.
It definitely is. It definitely is. It's awful. No doubt about it. It's a terrible thing. So, well, it's great talking with you, Devin. I
Yeah,
had such
you
a
too.
great time, and
We
I
could always
see.
do a part two or a truth talks too if you'd like.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, we'll get together again. Let's plan some kind of like a Zoom meeting for everybody. Can we do that?
Yeah, I'm
Do
actually
you
going into a
work?
conference call right now. If you're interested in going into it,
All
I can
right.
send you the link.
Yeah, send me.
It's every Tuesday, I think. Tuesday and Thursday they have it.
Good. We ought to organize and go to Washington because this stuff needs to stop. It really needs to stop. And the mind control here is unbelievable that's going on here. I
Yeah,
mean,
New York and California is the worst. Cali's
is
they
that,
live out there. It's they live in real life there. It's
oh my,
pretty creepy.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not, everybody's leaving California too. They're hemorrhaging people just like New York. New York is hemorrhaging people too. Eventually they're going to run out of taxpayers here, you know. People are just leaving. Tens and tens of thousands of people are moving out of New York every year. More people are leaving than are moving into the state.
It's too expensive out there, right?
New York and California are the highest as far as cost of living and taxes. Forget it. I mean, the taxes are unbelievable, unbelievable. And now the governor's trying to pass a law that pretty guns. They do not like guns.
So
They're
you're saying they're trying to get rid of the firearms in New York right now?
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of, do everything they can. They've already decreased the magazine capacity. So if you have more than 6 bullets in your gun, you could be arrested.
What?
And everybody that owns a gun right now that holds more than 6 bullets or 7 bullets can be arrested. Their gun is illegal in New York State. Yeah. So she's pushing all these anti-gun, regulations and laws, and she's just
They need to charge her for treason.
they're communists here.
Every
Absolute.
last one of them needs to be like that's what we need to do. We need to get up in the streets and we need to demand that these people get charged for treason and they get removed from power today, like
Right.
immediately. No
Right.
more trials, no more meetings, no more conferences with compromised officials already guilty of treason. How's
Right.
that going to get us anywhere? They're
Right.
all guilty and they all need to go.
Yep, I agree, Gavin. I absolutely agree. I feel the same way. It's like, they have these stupid interviews in Washington every single week. They've got a different panel, asking questions, like
Just to
Senator
waste our time.
Jim Jordan.
Distraction.
I mean, they're all asking questions, Ted Cruz, they're all asking questions. And I'm like, when are they going to actually arrest some of these people and charge some of these people? Especially the president's son. You know what I mean? Look at the money that kid is making, you know? Graft, he's getting all kinds of millions and millions and millions of dollars from the Chinese, you
Yeah.
know?
They're
Biden
just
sold
buying
all
whatever time they can. They know as long as they keep, talking questions, then people aren't, they're still asking. They're
yeah,
not saying, all right, we know what we know. Now get in the jail or get in the ground or get on over here and start spilling the beans for us. And, we'll have some mercy on you. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. That's what I think we should give people an ultimatum. I don't agree with jail or death. I agree that things are more, complicated than that. People have
Oh,
been held hostage. They've been, scared for their lives. They've been brainwashed. They've been mind controlled. They and all kinds of things. So I don't believe in just throwing people in jail for life or killing them. I believe in giving people another chance. And maybe even if they need to be surveilled 24/7 for the rest of their lives by the public and be like a Truman Show, so be it. But I think these people could be valuable assets. I think what these enemies want to do is throw them all under the bus so they can't talk anymore when they're all dead.
right.
And then come in here as their solution to their own problem and act
Yep.
like they're the heroes, throwing out their own people.
Isn't that the truth? That is the truth. You hit the nail on the head with that one. You're absolutely right. Sad, but true, you know. But are your neighbors involved in yours or no?
I hear occasionally people responding to what I'm doing outside or like, my thoughts even, like what I'm thinking and stuff. But, I'm pretty sure it's just demons and it's not really the neighbors. They can disguise their voices as anybody and try to cause conflicts and stuff like that. But if it's the neighbors, they hear me making videos. They know what they're involved in if they are, so,
Yeah,
I
they have
told them
such
so.
stuff right now. DARPA has advanced, really, excuse me, really advanced stuff. that they're using on people. You know what I mean? And let's face it, they've used people, innocent Americans as guinea pigs for years. This has been going on since the 1950s. It's been going on. You know what I mean? It's just
Mhm.
not stop between DARPA and the CIA. What they're doing to innocent Americans is a travesty, you know? And
Even
it's
the
just,
NSA, they have voice maps of everybody, from what I heard, or
they,
from my research. They have a
oh,
voice map of everyone's voices. And
yeah,
now look at it like this. If the devil controls the government, or the force of evil control every aspect, think about it like this. You want to make an atomic bomb, or you want to make a weapon, but you don't want everyone to know what they're making because they won't make it for you.
right.
So you got a department over here, you got a branch over here, you got you got this agency over there, you got all this stuff over here, but all combined, they don't know it. The devil's got it all.
Yeah. It's,
So they got voice maps, they got neural link, they got 5G, they got nanotech, they got, the money, they got all these systems. Put it
yeah.
all together, that's total domination.
Hmm. Yep. I mean, think about it. If they can do mind control on us, they can do mind control on everybody else too.
Yeah,
And
especially the president.
I bet they have the capacity to do that right now. I bet,
They can do
control
that.
everybody.
They have been doing that. I
I
know
know.
they have because they've done it to me, and I've talked to a counter amount of other people who have given their testimony saying that they're influencing, even forcing speech, forcing their mouths to move, forcing sexual feelings, trying to force arousal, burning their private parts, putting, energy to their private parts,
Yep.
trying to make them think sexual thoughts, trying to force disgusting demonic garbage into their heads against their will, and trying to say it's their thoughts to brainwash them,
And
and all
and
kinds of stuff.
they change your moods too on a dime. You can go from angry to depressed to happy to ecstatic. It's like within 2 minutes of each other, you can change, your mood can change. It's bizarre. It's like I was always consistently the same before I moved into this house. My mood was always the same. I was level all the time. Since I've moved into this house, my mood is like all over the place. I'm like, really? That's not me. That's not how I used to be? So it's definitely something going on here, something that's not natural, something that's not normal, and definitely artificially, you know, configured. You know what I mean? And like I said, the guy next door's got his lights on all night long. There, men in the basement down there working on computers, aiming things at my house. And I'm like,
Yeah,
something's
I
going
would
on.
just, I'd be careful with telling people that just because, you already know, but
Well,
I
I don't make
100%
them
believe you.
targeted either. I don't want them to get hurt because if some of my friends find out that they're involved in it or my family members find out that, they're doing that, they may hurt them. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be
Yeah,
responsible for them being murdered or anything.
yeah,
But,
I hear that.
after going through this it's been going on, I want to say I moved into this house on April 4th, 4403. So I've been here for 20 years in this house. So I want to say probably 2007 this started. So it's been going on since 2007. So figure 2007 to 2017 is 10 years. And then from 2017 to 2023 is what, 5?
16,
6,
15, 16. Wow.
17 years in this house has been going on. At
Wow.
least. But the stalking started years before that with the ex-boyfriend, stalking me at my old house, causing vandalism at my old house. And then when the same stuff started here, the vandalism, I'm like, well, it's got to be him doing it. But when it went on for years and years and years, and it's been going on for the whole 20 years I've lived here, I'm like,
That's all demon stuff. That's got to be.
can't be him because nobody's got that much money to pay these people to work here, and
No one's
follow.
that pathetic. Waste their lives away.
Yeah, nobody's got that much money to do that. You know what I mean? Nobody does. It's like, definitely not him. I'm like, it's got to be the government because they're the only ones that have that much money that they can put a surveillance on a subject for that many years. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I think to
I
myself, what
think
have
these
I
are
done to draw that
literal
much
demons
stuff?
that are, feeling like they're going to hell. So they're trying to drag whoever they can with them. They don't have a life other than destroying ours, I think.
You are spot on accurate. Spot on. You are spot on. That's true. They are going to hell. They're going to rot in hell. No doubt
They're
about
just
it.
trying to take us with them. That's all.
Well, we're not going with them, Dev. We're good people. We're not going with them. Definitely not. You and I are both good people. And I really appreciate you doing everything you do for the targeted community.
You too. I appreciate you coming
Uh,
on here and everything.
no, you're welcome.
You're a nice
And,
person, and there's no reason that this should be happening to you. I'm sure anybody can see that. You're not a terrorist. You're not a threat to yourself or others. You're not a devil worshiper. You're not a sellout. You're not a traitor. You're not anything bad. You're not un-American. You're more American than the people doing this to you in our government.
that's
So,
true.
and the people that reject the truth about it. So
Yeah,
that's for sure.
it's the truth. Absolutely the truth. Sad. I mean, my dad was a lieutenant colonel in the army for almost 9 years. He saw action in the Philippines and also in against the Germans over in Africa. And he first fought under General Patton, and then he fought under General MacArthur. Got the Bronze Star, numerous Bronze Stars, Silver Star. He was a war hero. My grandfather, the same way. He fought in World War One, World War Two. Was a war hero. Used to bring ammunitions and tanks and everything over, food and supplies over to Germany, over to England while they were fighting in Germany. And he would try to dodge the U boats, the German U boats, the submarines, and not get sunk, you know. So he had a very dangerous mission, my grandfather, and he made it back and forth every once a week. He'd be over in England, and he got England's highest Medal of Honor over there. The Queen of England gave him his medal. So he's a hero. So I come from a long line of military heroes. My great grandfather was in the Civil War and he was in the Army and the Navy in the Civil War and was an officer and a gentleman. So I come from a very long line and my family's been here since the founding. Hundreds and
Wow.
hundreds of years. Yeah. The Bowies have been here for a long, long time, long time. So it's just, it just boggles my mind that they would pick on me, an innocent nurse. I'm like, why are they picking on me? But then I realized that my husband's cousin is Kirsten Gillibrand, and she's the U.S. Senator from New York with Chuck Schumer. So
Huh.
there's a connection. And I'm a conservative, and she's a Democrat. So I
Yeah,
see.
they're definitely going against people that are against their agenda. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
Anybody with high morals and standards is a threat to them.
definitely. Yeah, definitely is. It's no doubt about it. I have high morals, high standards. I'm very honest, brutally honest, actually, and I'm very, very open. But I've never come across anything like this in my lifetime. So it took me a long time to figure out what was going on. But I did my research. And the research that I did is what confirmed that, I'm not going crazy. There are other people out there just like me that are having the same exact problems I'm having in their home. You know, the same symptoms, the same stuff, experiencing the same exact stuff, the gang stalking, the voice of God weapons, all of that stuff, the harm that they cause. I've been in the hospital so many times for so many problems as a result of this. And I know that the sheriff's office is involved with this. Definitely. They've got a hand in it. So it's just, I have a hell of a lawsuit. A hell of a lawsuit. I just
I
have to find
do.
a law firm to sue them, and I fully
You gotta
intend.
get pro bono. Try to get some of that going because I mean, they'll probably recognize the amount of money that they can make off of it. So I don't see why you wouldn't be able to find a pro bono attorney for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep trying, you know. A lot of them around here in the Capital District, they don't want to touch it because it's the Albany County Sheriff's Office. They won't touch it. They won't
Um,
they don't want to take on the sheriff's office because they're politically connected. That's why. You know, they know they're corrupt. They know it's a corrupt police department, you know. Some police departments are not corrupt. They're really good. They're very honest in the United States. This one, unfortunately, is not, you know. And like I said, I'm sure the cops, when they start police academy, when they first start working there, have high hopes, you know, and hoping that they're going to be making a difference in people's lives and helping people and blah blah blah. Within 6 months, they're corrupted by the old cops.
yeah, well, they probably let them. They probably put it in their head that the people hate them, that they don't respect them, that they're just pigs to them or something like that. Not to sound like that, but it's unfortunate because they're controlled by the system and they want to help. A lot of them, they want to do the right thing, but they're
Hmm.
not allowed to.
Right. The
They're
old
not
times
able.
really poison them, you know, poison their minds. They really
Yep.
do.
The same
Yeah.
with the military nowadays. Like back in the day, it was real wars. It was real. It was something to really fight for. Now it's just bullshit. Just
Hmm.
bullshit now. Well, the corporate wars anyway. Not the spiritual war is real.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just mind control now. It's just
And you know
military's
what
mind
really
control.
bothers me, Devin, is that, you know, they're not the police of the world, the United States. You know what I mean? We're not the police of the world. We should not be telling other countries what to do and how to do it and meddling in other countries' political problems like the
Yeah.
Ukraine, Russia. I mean, Joe Biden's got us on the brink of a freaking nuclear war here with Russia helping out the Ukraine because Russia's fighting them. And I mean, we shouldn't get involved in that. We really shouldn't. We
I
should be
think it's
like,
all set up. They know
yeah,
what they're doing. They're just trying to usher in this new world order any way they can and undermine America and just destroy it from the inside.
that's exactly what he's doing. And now that, what is it, Article 34 or something like that, 32 is ending. I think tomorrow is the last day. So those immigrants that are waiting to come into the country in Mexico are going to make a mad dash across the border. And the guards, you know, they can't stop them. They can come right into the country at that point. They can't stop them.
Uh, and we're
Yeah.
gonna get invaded because they're already invading us right now with Chinese
Oh,
immigrants and
we've had millions.
Russian immigrants,
Yep.
and they're all men of fighting age with no relationship partners, no children with them. That's what
Yeah.
they noticed. They're being bussed in here, busloads of young adult males of fighting age, and that's it.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? And a lot of them are coming to New York. They're literally flying them into Albany County Airport. They're picking them up at the airport in a van and bringing them to apartments and different community residences in the Capital District. It's amazing because during the peak of the pandemic, they were flying them up here, putting them on a bus. This is after Biden was elected, putting them on a bus and bringing them down to Columbia County, where they had an old state run school for wayward boys, you know, like in
Um,
the criminal justice system. It was like individual rooms for these boys. They were adolescents. They closed the place down and they rented all the buildings to the federal government. The federal government rented the buildings down there in Columbia County and they were housing, feeding, clothing, and giving them medical care.
yeah, there's got to be multiple reasons why they're bringing in these immigrants, but I have a feeling it's got something to do with they'll take the vaccine and they need more numbers of people to outnumber us to try to force the mandates, and or maybe it's not the vaccine. I don't know because I don't know about the vaccine right now, but I do know that they want to outnumber us. They want to infiltrate us. They want to have people on the ground, probably to vote for their side or something.
That's
I don't
exactly
know what it is.
exactly what it is. They're importing voters.
Uh, so
That's
they
exactly
control the election.
so they can always win, the Democrats. It's exactly what they're doing. Exactly. They're deliberately flooding the country with future Democrat voters. They pay these people $25 at the polling booth. They pick them up at their apartment, bring them to the voting booth, pay them $25, tell them how to vote, okay? And they go in and cast their vote for a Democrat. And that's how it's played. That's how the game is played. Okay. And that's what they're doing. They don't ever want to lose another election. It's all about money and control. And that's exactly what it's all about, money and control. Staying in power, staying in control, and controlling the masses and making a lot of money lining their pockets. Look at how much money Pelosi's made, Nancy Pelosi and her husband, through insider trading. She's made hundreds of millions of dollars with insider trading, right? It's not fair. The rest of us are, working slobs, paying her salary to work for us, and she's making millions of dollars on insider trading. You know what I mean?
Wow,
At our
that's
expense.
crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's how these people operate. You know what I mean? And that last presidential election, when I went to bed at night on election night, Trump was ahead. Trump was ahead. I wake up the next morning, Joe Biden won the presidency. Somewhere between midnight, 12:30 and 4 a.m., all of a sudden Biden picked up 10,000 points. I don't know how that happened, but Dinesh D'Souza made a movie about it, you know? And I encourage you to watch that movie. What the hell's the name of it? It's his latest movie. He made it in 2020, I believe. I forget the name of it. I'll figure it out and I'll text message you the name of it. Watch it because it's an eye opener. They literally have these mules. That's what it is, mule. They had these mules running fake ballots and putting them in the ballot boxes. They had people making out fake voter ballots, putting them in bags, dropping them in the voter boxes, and then people picking them up from the election board and counting those votes. And that's exactly how Biden won, through fake ballots.
Wow.
And these people were dead and have been dead for, I don't know, 18 years, some of them. And they're voting. Yep. No kidding. They're dead.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep.
The
It's amazing.
cheaters.
They cheat. Yeah, they cheated. So, yeah. So it's just the Democrats are terrible. They really are. They're crooks. But I will give the Democrats credit for one thing. They stick together, you
Yeah.
know? They stick together where the Republicans don't. They don't really, they're not a cohesive group. They don't really stick together too much. Conservatives do, but the Republicans don't really stick together. The Democrats definitely do, you know? But I used to be a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat anymore. And I'm not,
Yeah, I never picked a side really.
yeah, I don't really pick sides. I vote for who I like, you know? That's what I do, you know? I just vote with my conscience. Who do I think is going to do the best job for us and is more like how I think? You know what I mean? And I really like the person. That's who I vote for. You know what I mean? I definitely did not vote for Biden. You know, he's
Yeah, I wouldn't
been in
either.
for a long time and he's very corrupt. That man is very, very corrupt. And so is his son. And his son's a crackhead. And he's living off his father in the White House. He's staying in the White House. Now he's painting and he's making hundreds of $1,000s on each painting that he's painting.
Wow.
Paintings look like something a sixth grader would do. You know, somebody
Uh,
in sixth grade could do that. The painting that he's getting hundreds of thousands of dollars for. I kid you.
wow.
Yeah. So it's like, uh, you know, you just can't make this shit up.
Was
It's
he painting them in the White House? Is that why?
Yeah, he's living there. He should be
Wow.
working a job, living by himself, not living on daddy's dime. How old is that guy? How old is
Oh,
he?
wow.
He's got to be in his like late 30s, early 40s.
How does he not have millions of dollars if he's connected with the Biden crime family?
Exactly. Why is he living in the White House? He's just like taking advantage of his father. He really is.
Uh,
You
uh,
know. Even when Trump was president, none of his kids lived in the White House. Not one of them, except his one little son stayed there sometimes. But he was at boarding school most of the time. All of his adult children bought a house or rented an apartment in Washington, D.C. They didn't live in the White House.
Yeah.
You know? But yet,
Yeah.
Biden's son, the crack addict, lives in the White House, you know? I'm like, whatever, whatever. I don't know. I can't keep up with it, but there's only like 20% of the population that's dumb enough to want Biden to run for president again. Mind you, he's going to be in his 80s. Okay. Nobody that's that old should be running the country and have their finger on the trigger of the nuclear weapon arsenal, I'm just not comfortable with that.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, come on. If you're 81 years old, how fast are you going to be up here? You're not. You know what I mean? You're just
And
not.
there's all this mind control stuff and all the corruption and all this other stuff too on top of it.
I know,
Like,
right?
come on.
It's not worth it. That's just not. So,
I don't agree with a one person president, but that's a whole other topic of conversation. But
well, that's why we have vice presidents. We have two presidents, basically, right? We have Kamala Harris as a backup, but God help us if she becomes president. But I mean, I think she'd do a better job than Biden, actually, at this point. But where do you live?
I'm in East Coast, the Mass.
Oh, you're in Massachusetts? Are you near Boston?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that's good. My father was from Braintree. You know where that is? Outside of Boston, Braintree?
Yeah, I think I've heard of it.
Think it's like southeast of Boston, like just a half an hour outside of Boston. He was born in Boston and raised in right outside of Boston. That's where he lived his whole life. So every summer we had to go to Cape Cod for vacation. And every summer we would either go to Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard every other year. So I've been to Martha's Vineyard 3 times and Nantucket 3 times. And he would take us all up and down the eastern seaboard when I was a kid, for vacation. Yarmouth and, Booth Bay Harbor and, Rockport, Massachusetts and, Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, all up and down. I love the eastern seaboard. I really love it. It's beautiful. Plus, you get
Really?
the best seafood in the world, on the sea coast. It's the
Hmm.
best. Freshest lobster, freshest clams, everything is delicious. Fresh swordfish and all kinds of great fish. So good. Massachusetts isn't a bad state.
No, it's a little expensive, but
Not as bad as New York. I like
yeah,
Boston. Actually, Boston's great. It's really nice.
yeah, I love Boston too. Boston and Denver are my favorite.
I like Denver too. Denver's really cool with the
And
tea.
Boulder, Colorado in general is just beautiful.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. I love
My favorite state, I think.
it. Yeah, I love it out there. I went out there for a case management conference years ago and I absolutely fell in love with it. I went to the Molly Brown house. Did you ever hear of her? The
I think so.
Unsinkable Molly Brown, that movie, they made that about her. She's amazing. She was an infant that was put in a basket and she got swept down the river in the Colorado flood and in the basket and some old man found her in the basket as an infant crying in the river and he grabbed her and saved her and raised her as his own daughter and she ended up marrying John Brown who was a miner. He found a gold and silver mine and he struck it rich and became one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest man in Denver, Colorado, and built her a house and all kinds of stuff. Took her to Europe and all over the world for vacations. In fact, she
Oh,
was on the Titanic when it sunk. Molly Brown. She got into a lifeboat and she was saved, but she's dead now. She died, in the early 1900s. But I went to her house when I went to Denver for the case management conference. I went up to her house. I walked up there. I took the T just so far and then I walked up the hill to her house. and her house was amazing. Absolutely. It was an old Victorian mansion. It was amazing. But Denver is phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. It's so clean, it's so beautiful. The air is so pure. The Rocky Mountains are beautiful. It's just so nice there. And the food is the best. They have the best food in the world there.
Oh yeah,
I had a
that's
steak
amazing.
with the nurses that I went out there with. I had a steak the first night, and I mean, you could cut it with a fork. It was amazing. It was the best steak I've ever had. But West meat out west is totally different than it is on the East Coast. It's so much fresher, so much better, tastes so much better. The flavor is so much better. It's amazing. Really, really
Hmm,
good. Yeah. Big
I can
difference.
think that.
Do you eat meat? You're not a vegetarian, are you?
No, I'm not veggie. I thought about going vegetarian, but it's a little difficult to do that.
It's hard, especially when you grow up with meat, when your mother feeds you meat growing up, it's hard to give up meat. It really is. You
Mhm.
want healthy and everything, but like I'd have a hard time giving up hamburgers. I love hamburgers. You like cheeseburgers? I love cheeseburgers. It's one of
I
my
don't like
favorite.
McDonald's. I reject McDonald's, but I
Yeah, I
like
don't,
it. I like other burgers.
yeah,
McDonald's is like too sinister for me. I've heard too much stuff about McDonald's to ever want to eat there again.
yeah. I
I
don't
just
do
can't do it.
I don't do McDonald's. I don't do them. I don't. I like Five Guys. They're good. Um, Smash Burger is pretty good. You know, and then other restaurants in the area have, some of the bars have pretty good burgers. Some of the local restaurants here in the village and stuff, they have good burgers. But I love burgers. Cheeseburgers are great. Bacon cheeseburgers are even better. I love bacon cheeseburgers. That's my downfall. I'll have one of those like once a week. I'll eat a bacon cheeseburger. But it keeps me going. So I'm
Hmm.
sorry that you don't get a lot of sleep. I don't either, Devin. If I get 2 hours of sleep a night, I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
s-
I'm pretty
a
good
lot
with
of,
sleeping a little bit and being alright too. I like that.
yeah.
ADHD probably has an effect on it.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's hard here. It's very difficult. Those are my love birds. Do you hear them?
Yeah.
They're
Uh,
squeaking here. I got them in a nesting box, but can you see the nesting box up there? Little
oh
square.
yeah.
Yeah, that's their nesting box. It's a male and a female. One of the doctors I work with breeds them, and he raises lovebirds. And
Uh,
he wanted me to take two of his babies, so I ended up taking these two. They never shut up. They're quiet. They're never quiet. Only at night. I cover them up at night, and then they go to sleep when I put the blanket over their cage. But they're
uh,
I put them in the living room. I really shouldn't have put them in here. They make a mess. They throw seed everywhere, so I got to vacuum frequently. I have a robot vacuum. Those things are great. That thing vacuums by itself. I just turn it on, turn it off remotely, and it does a great job. I like it.
that's
I got it
cool.
for $40.
Wow, that's cheap.
Yeah, it was on sale. Somebody returned it and they didn't like it or whatever, and I got it for $40. It's usually $179. So I'm like, $40, I'll take it. And I have the iRobot. I have that too, and that one doesn't work as good as the $40 one.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
weird.
iRobot I spent like $600 on, and then this one I spent 40, and the $40 one works better than the $600 one, believe it or not. It's
Wow, that's weird.
And it's got a remote control. The $40 one, I just push the button. The thing just automatically vacuums the whole house. It's amazing, and it does a really good job.
Wow. Yeah, the
And I,
iRobot, they seem to just bump into walls and just guess it.
yeah, it's
Can't
not.
guess where it's going.
I don't like
Be
it.
spinning around in circles, going nowhere.
They're expensive too. They're not cheap.
They're
You know.
gigantic too. Like
Yeah,
huge for no reason.
yeah. They don't have to be that big. They're much bigger than the one I have. I have an Ion, I think it's called, or something like that, and I got it at Walmart. So I'm like, geez, it's $40 for $40. I'll try it. Well, it works fantastic, and it works much better than the iRobot one. I'm like, wow, that's great.
Should just sell the iRobot one online to somebody, get your
That's a
money.
good idea. Sell it, get some money for it.
You could
Because like
probably
I said,
get like 250 to $400 off of that.
really, okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
should try.
think the rule of thumb is usually like half are used or whatever.
Mhm.
So you could get
Yeah.
more than half.
Yeah, I took good care of it. It's clean and everything, so I take good
If
care of
you
my.
still got the box, you can bring it to wherever you bought it and try to get store credit.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's
Just
a
have
really.
them scan it and then say, "Oh, I lost the receipt," and then sign it, and then you get the store credit on a card.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'll
And you
try.
could even use old receipts that you have where you paid cash or debit. Buy with the store credit what's on those receipts, and you can get cash back through that receipt if you
Oh,
return the stuff that you bought.
that's true. I forgot about that. That is true. Yep.
A little
Well,
sneaky little trick to get your cash back.
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, it's
uh,
great talking to you. Get some
you
sleep.
too. I'm gonna
Uh,
try.
Talking to you.
You too. Anytime you want to do a part two, let me know. Or if you want to do a Truth Talks, we can throw it on our channel.
Definitely. I would love that. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you for doing this, and I hope everybody watching right now it helps you out. And um, you're amazing. Thank you.
Thanks. You too, Devin. Take care. Yep. Bye. Bye.